This is the American Dream, Dustin Rhodes, son of a plumber, daddy, and you're listening to the Bob Culture Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into a very special Shoot to Kill edition of the BCP.
A very sharp episode.
Yeah, sharp as a blade, you might say, goodest brother. And I'll tell you this right now, this is one, and I always say this, but this is for real, very long overdue.
Or she'll beat us up and make us tap.
I'm a little intimidated already. Please welcome into the show. You know her as the GSW SOS champion, the Pro Wrestling Magic Women's Champion, the Paradigm Super Middleweight Champion, the one and only Miss Jordan Blade, champion in our hearts. That's right. Welcome in, Jordan. How are you?
Guys?
Hey, Jordan.
Doing all right. How are you guys?
We're good. How many belts did I miss? Let's be real. Every time I see a picture of you, you're carrying a belt.
Yeah,
I know. I mean, I feel bad. I also have the United Elite Wrestling Women's Championship. UEW is a promotion based out of my hometown in Richmond, Virginia, which hopefully is going to get on a streaming platform this year. Hoping they're making some big moves. So if you guys want to follow them on Twitter, I know they have a show this weekend that I'm unable to be at, but they're having a show this weekend in Richmond. Trish Adora is going to be there. Gia Scott. Who else is going to be there? I think Rhett Titus.
We interviewed Rhett Titus before. He's
very
awesome.
nice.
Yeah, he's another one of the good ones. We were talking about some of the good ones in professional wrestling. So we were talking about Riley Shepard. And Rhett Titus is another one who was just two people with hearts of gold. I only ever hear good things about them. And Riley's one of my best friends in and out of wrestling anyways. So UEW is having a show this weekend. And like I said, hopefully, this is the year that they kind of get some steam behind them and get on some streaming platforms so you guys can check them out. So again, they're based out of my hometown. So always got mad love for Richmond. So I'm hoping that we'll get them on the up and up.
Well, they're on the right track. They got you as one of their champions.
Yeah, right about that.
I'm just saying.
And we're talking about the championships because, I'm doing my homework. Like, obviously, I work with you over at Magic. I see you all over the place. A lot of these, places here in the Northeast. And every single picture I find of you, you have a different color belt.
You need that Ultimo Dragon picture, which is, you need to just all the belts on you. Everybody's got to do it.
That's it.
I know. And I need to, bring them somewhere. And, they yell at me all the time. But Jay Lee is actually not far from me. They're maybe 2 hours north. Okay. And I could easily book a photo session with them. But every time I see them at shows, for the past couple months, I've just been so dead tired. I'm and they're packing up and I'm I forgot to get promo pictures. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
and they get on me every time, especially Christina. But Jay Lee, two of the best in the business.
Jay Lee Photography, follow them. They're great. And I wanted to ask you this because every picture you are holding the gold, a lot of people here in the Northeast, they kind of call it the belt collector, the Thanos.
Got some belt collectors,
big on that. Is that kind of your thing, or is it just kind of go win the match? Are you collecting the gold, or is it just
happens a belt on the line?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I think there just still happens to be a belt on the line, and I think the outcome is kind of never in question. Whether I'm going to win or not. I have 4 belts right now. What are you going to do? I go in there and I've won matches via pinfall, submission, and knockout. So who else can say that they're doing that right now? Especially
that's true. Especially the knockout part.
Yeah, what other female wrestler can you say that's doing that right now? I'm sure you could. I can't think off the top of my head. I have the memory of a goldfish, but who else? Again, in women's wrestling, can you say that's doing something like that? And I pride myself on doing things out of the ordinary and being different. I don't think you can find someone on the indies right now who has the look that I do and kind of the character and the aura that I do. You can find a ton that are close, and I really gravitate towards people who in wrestling who aren't like the norm. So people like Trish Adora and people like Janai Kai and people like Masha Slamovich.
I love all of them. You want to talk about fighting Trish? Because I know we were talking about it off.
Yeah, like I was saying, that it's the
it.
first match that I watched you in, and I was just like, first of all, this match is a clinic.
Yeah.
Second of all, they are just beating the shit out of each other. Describe wrestling Trish, and who are some of your favorites to wrestle right now?
Man, Trish is one of my favorites to wrestle. I will say her up and down every day of the week, bar none. Trish Adora is one of my favorite people to wrestle. And I think every time I wrestled her, so I've wrestled her 3 times so far in my career. And I think every time that I wrestle her, I get a little bit better, and I find yet another way to counter something that she, normally gives, or another way to kind of beat her. I haven't beaten her yet, so I'm 0-3 against Trish right now.
Oh, is that right? Oh, wow. That's got to change.
Correct.
You got this.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
You got this.
So Jesus, somebody, she's the one person who has my number, right? Is Trish Adora, but
kryptonite.
Right. But Trish is so, when you look at her, and I know, I was just talking about auras and everything. You look at Trish and you see a star. And I think people throw out the word, oh, they're a star, he's a star, whatever, a ton. And that's fine. But when I see Trish, star, again, different than anybody else on the indies.
Mm-hmm.
She has one of the most prestigious and important world championships in the business, not even just on the indies, but in professional wrestling as a whole. And the way she carries herself is just different than everyone else. And she's just I could go on about Trish, but she's just one of the most genuine people that I've met in wrestling. And I'm honored to call her one of my friends.
Oh.
But I can't say enough good things about Trish. I love her to death.
I was just gonna say, when we first watched the match and you guys locked up, I was like, this is a little different. Like, your look is very different, her look is very different. I was like, I'm digging this, because like you said, it's, especially now in wrestling, it's very hard to stand out.
Yes,
not everybody is like it's hard to make up something new. So whether it's like a little nuance or something like that, it's always hard to stand out. So I always love wrestlers that stand out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I'm just being myself. It's really,
which makes it even better.
Yeah, it's really nothing different. And when I started, I was generic wrestler number 7. I had very generic gear. Who didn't? And I was really trying to find myself, and as a ton of us are when we first start. And the first custom gear that I had made, it was green and black and white plaid, and I was nice. The pop punk Paramore, and it was this very
that's an amazing name. Awesome. That's an amazing
bring it name. Back, please.
That is awesome.
I might bring it back at some point, but yes, Paramore is my favorite band, and you can use that.
Okay.
I had that written down because so far I was going to ask you what kind of music you were into, because I remember we do the little pre-show dance parties, and Jimmy and all them are dance or whatever. And I remember Paramore came on, and I see you coming down the hall and just rocking out the Paramore. So that's your band. Do you play any instruments, or you just have favorite bands and stuff?
Man, so both.
Oh wow.
Going back to real quick, I was the pop punk Paramore, and that was very 2-dimensional. And it was okay, there's this chick that likes pop punk music. Okay,
nice.
Some people can relate to her, but how can you relate to Jordan Blade, the pop punk Paramore, on a deeper level? And then I broke my ankle, and then I was kind of rehashing who I wanted to be. And then I got more into jiu-jitsu at that point and kind of started getting a little better at technique. I was still a white belt at that point. But anyway, so I used to play instruments. I don't anymore. I played 3 instruments when I was in grade school. I played the French horn.
Oh, I love that's a very good instrument. Love the French horn. Beautiful sound.
One of the hardest instruments to learn how to play. I wanted to play when I was in middle school. I was in band, enrolled in band 6th grade. The movie Drumline had just come out.
Nice.
So everyone wanted to play the snare drum, of course, right? And my band director was like, "No more percussionists. I don't need any more percussionists.
Ready drummers."
Yep. I know that story.
Like, what am I supposed to do? I had my heart set on playing the snare drum. I was going to be this cool percussionist or whatever. So I'm thinking, my mother played clarinet, bass clarinet, and bassoon. And my mom still had her clarinet. And I was just I don't want to play clarinet. There's too many keys. And so I was going back and forth, and I was talking with my band director, and she was like, well, you can get a scholarship if you play either the French horn or the oboe. And I was like, well, the oboe is just a mini clarinet, so I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So let's do French horn. She neglected to tell me that the French horn, the reason you get scholarships for playing the French horn and the oboe is because they are two of the hardest instruments to learn how to play.
Whoops.
So in 6th grade, I was ass. Terrible. And then I remember one day in 7th grade, I had a melody with the clarinets, ironically. And I was the only French horn player, and something just clicked. And I was able to like hear the notes or something, and I was able to match it. And then I started taking private lessons, and I was like a decent French horn player.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then in 7th grade, I picked up guitar. So I have 4 guitars. My wife has probably 4 guitars. So we have 8 guitars scattered around the house. I don't play anymore, so I couldn't bust anything out and play anything for you. But I was really into music when I was in middle school and high school. Loved it. I wanted to go to college to play the French horn as well, but that didn't end up happening. But my favorite bands growing up, in 6th or 7th grade, that's when I discovered Paramore, and then Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco, My Chemical Romance. I mean, come on. The golden age of pop punk, 2007, 2008, whatever year that was. I was in middle school. I'm dating myself, but
I'm older. I'm Green Day.
I just turned 36. So when I tell people my bands, they're like, oh, who are they?
Yeah.
Oh, no, not who are they? No.
But you rock it. And I'll tell you what, next time I see a Pro Wrestling Magic, I'll bring some drum pads. I'll bring some sticks. We'll do a couple things just so you can say you played the drums.
Oh my God. I wish I'd be like,
I teach a drum line every Sunday. I got you. I'll teach all the tricks.
Now, before we move on, what's favorite Paramore album and favorite Paramore song? Because I always flip back and forth with this one. That's tough.
That is tough. And you got to go with Over Liable on the album, right? You got to go with Riot. I think
yes, you do.
My favorites.
See, mine is All We Know Is Falling, but I go back and forth with that and Riot. And my favorite Paramore song is Miracle, which isn't a single.
Okay,
it's so good.
It is very good, and that whole album. And I think I would be inclined to say Misery Business, and I mean that's easily probably top 3, top 5. But I think my favorite song by them. So I got 2 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of them is one that many people probably won't know, but it's called Decoy.
Yeah, and that's off the Twilight, right? No, it's Transformers album.
No.
That was Decode.
Decode. That's it. Yeah, I knew we were close, but yeah.
So Decoy was an early.
Yes, it was. Okay, now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it was Decoy and Stop This Song. Stop This Song is also really good. And not I Caught Myself. I'll have to go back and look. But early EP, probably around the All We Know Is Falling era.
Yeah.
But check out because they have a live The Final Riot tour.
Just picked it up at the flea market last year. We still have yet to watch it. It's still unopened. Yeah.
So they have a live version of Decoy. So go and check that out. It's just a very I'll just turn it up at the gym or whatever. It's just a very hard, not hard. Very Paramore is not super hard, but it's just a very upbeat song.
Yeah, get you pumping. Yeah.
That's exactly. Awesome. And then I love their live version of Let the Flames Begin.
Okay.
I get goosebumps every time. That's on that live album as well. So listen to that. And then I love when there's callbacks to different songs. And I like that even too in writing. I don't read that much anymore, but
gotcha.
In part 2, which is on their self-titled album, if you listen closely, you can hear the same rhythms and melody that's in Let the Flames Begin from Riot.
Oh, okay. All right.
I know what we're watching today.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it gives us an excuse because we've been meaning to watch it and it's unopened. I was like, oh, that's so good. I bought it for $1. I was like, never seen it before. So
$1. It should be 100. No, I'm just kidding.
I got lucky with that.
Did you ever see him live?
Anything Paramore does is gold. Paramore
Yeah.
can literally just whistle a whole album. I'd be like,
have you seen them live yet?
yeah, what, 3 times?
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I've seen them a few
Yeah.
times.
Great. Good drums.
Have you
too.
got to meet Haley?
No, and okay, segue for a second. So
Okay.
I know that Bailey, right, is a huge fan of Paramore and Haley Williams, right?
Yeah. Who
And
isn't?
I think at one point, I think Bailey was probably trying to get Haley to perform her to the ring, like during WrestleMania, and I was like, no, I want that. Like,
Well, we know the answer later on.
That's our. We always ask our question. That's the question.
Yeah,
we
that's
always
the
ask that.
question.
What band would play you out? But I guess it would be Paramore.
oh yeah, easy Paramore.
We'll get to
yeah.
that though later.
That's all. That's awesome. Very cool. I could talk pop punk all day. I got my Travis Barker sign.
Every time we go on a road trip, we always
Pop
I look on
punk.
Spotify, either pop punk powerhouses or emo forever. That's always the
Good
playlist.
playlist.
Yeah.
It's always so good.
Yes, hell yeah. Check out Avril Lavigne's new album too with Travis Barker.
Is it good?
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm sold.
Yeah. Because it's a throwback to, like, you know, Skater Boy and Complicated
in.
Avril Lavigne. Like,
Okay,
yeah,
I'm down.
I'm already in.
she signed to Travis Barker's record label. And
Smart,
then
yeah.
if you like Willow Smith's new album, she has Travis Barker on the drums and a couple songs too.
I'm sold. That's Travis Barker's my guy.
Yeah, that's
so
like
I
his
got
hero,
that
yeah.
bed right
So
there.
good, so good.
Oh, amazing. I could talk pop punk all day. Real quick,
Hey.
going back to wrestling, you talking about some of these amazing ladies that you've gotten to work with. Two things real quick. I'll start with this one. You've defended the Pro Wrestling Magic Women's Championship against Masha. You guys have a nice little feud going. Becca, some other names. Are there some other people that you'd like to see maybe Magic bring in, or that you'd like to work with that you haven't worked with yet to maybe defend that title against?
Yeah. So now that you put me on the spot, I'm like, I can't think right
All
No,
of
no.
them.
now.
All
Bring
come
them all
on,
to
bring
me.
them on. Let's go.
So I mean, you know, we were talking about it earlier. Riley Shepard.
That's what I want. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I think Riley. I mean, again, she's one of my best friends. So, but I think Riley is destined to have a breakout year.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
I told you she's like one of the nicest people ever in wrestling.
Yes.
I told Riley, I was like, you gotta be mean. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You gotta pick your spots and be mean. Like, don't just be mean for the sake of being mean.
Yeah, just
As
don't
I'm
be-
learning,
Just
yeah.
don't be mean
As
I'm
for
learning,
the sake
yeah.
of being mean.
If-
Yeah.
Like if we do have a match, I'm gonna be like, if you don't hit me, and I'm literally gonna be like, come on, Riley, hit me in the face. Come on, let's fucking go. Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think and we started around the same time. We met for the first time at Monster Factory, I guess in 2018, and we both had like just kind of started, and we bonded because it was like, oh, here's the only other female in the camp, right? And we kind of, you know, lost touch for a little bit. We went our separate ways. I mean, obviously I was in Virginia, she was in Jersey, but you know, we came back together like at WWR, and again, I was like up there a ton, and then, you know, we just kind of, I was always at her house. Like I said, she made me a house key, and you know, we just been like, we talk every day, you know, we talk almost as much as Ela and I talk. So
Aw.
yeah, we do. Yeah. So yeah, she's destined to have a huge year, and I'm really excited to see where she goes. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I think she's back over in Australia, but
KZT?
Charlie Evans.
Oh, okay.
Charlie Evans, Shazza McKenzie, Marina Shafir.
Oh, I'd be here for that.
Oh,
one.
yeah, we
that
definitely would be here for
great.
that, yeah.
Someone book that.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
we've been like back and forth a little bit, not a ton, a little bit of back and forth on Twitter. And I think Marina just wants to wrestle everybody, which is great.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Mercedes Martinez.
Oh,
Yes.
I mean, you know, she's the GOAT. I mean, she's incredible. And I had the opportunity to talk with her at the last We Are Wrestling show in December, and we didn't have a match with her, and Masha tore it down, but I got the opportunity to talk to her a little bit, and she was just so helpful and so giving when she didn't have to be, you know. And she, you know, came up to me and asked, you know, how things went, you know, with my match with Savannah. And I would love to wrestle Savannah again. She's great. and she was just, asking how things went when she didn't have to.
That's
and
awesome.
she's just like a genuine soul, like honestly. And you can just kind of tell that with people when you talk to them, especially in wrestling, like if they're genuine or not. But Mercedes is also one of the good ones too. So
that's good. That's good to know. That's awesome. And going the other way, the Pro Wrestling Magic heavyweight champion is Erica Lee, former guest of the show. You got gold everywhere you're going. Have you run the scenarios in your head? Like hypothetically, I mean, one more. I'm here for that match. I'm just saying.
You could lift it.
Yes, of course. I mean, you always want to, and I'm not downplaying the Pro Wrestling Magic Women's Championship at all, but you always want to strive to get at least every single belt that you can in a promotion, and you want to get their top belt. And right now their top belt is the Pro Wrestling Magic heavyweight championship that is held by Erica Lee, which we have fought all over the East Coast. So, having another match with us, we're no strangers to each other. So I think that would be a good match too.
Yeah, that would be amazing. And I wanted to ask you this, like, what does it mean to you that, you're working for a lot of these promotions and you get the tap on the shoulder almost everywhere you go to represent the company as a champion? Like, what does that mean to you everywhere?
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely not lost on me. I am like super grateful that these promotions and everyone have so much faith in me, to challenge for these championships. And ultimately I've won these championships wherever I've gone. And it shows that they kind of have faith in me to put me in these positions. And again, like I'm just super grateful. I kind of look, I stand back sometimes and I look and I'm like, what did I do? Like to I don't know, deserve all of this.
Work your ass off. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the long days. I mean, I just started a new regular job, Monday through Friday, and and thank you. And November, and I've, everywhere short staffed right now with COVID, and I've just been working like 10-hour days, 5 days a week, and because we're so short staffed, and I'm exhausted, and I still find a way to get to the gym. And my wife's deployed right now, so right now I'm a single mother. And yeah, so trying to get my son somewhere that he can be, so I can go to the gym for an hour and a half or something like that, when I'm working from before the sun rises, and by the time I get off work the sun is setting, and trying to again get to the gym or get to training or what have you. So yeah, I'm very tired. And I remember I was just talking to my wife before we got on this call, and I was like, yeah, my coworkers are like, how was your weekend? And I was like, I didn't do anything. And I'm looking at my calendar starting this weekend. I don't.
Like, what is that?
I don't have a weekend off until the week after Mania week.
That's good though. That's good. I mean, stay healthy.
We get what you're saying. It's like it's a blessing, but it's also like, man,
and good for you holding it down at home. That's pretty awesome.
How old's your son?
He's 9. So he's my wife Laura left mid-December, so she wasn't here for Christmas or New Year's. So she missed it last year, and then she'll most likely miss it this year again. So he's, I mean, for a 9-year-old, he's taking it pretty well. I mean, we're still in like the first couple months of his mom being away, so we're kind of taking it day by day, and trying to hang out with him, and just keep him. I sometimes I feel bad because I'm like I'm gone all the time on weekends, and I work all these long hours, but I'm like, dude, I promise. I'm like, it's gonna pay off. It has to pay off.
Yeah, absolutely will.
Yeah. Not only for my family, but for everyone who watches him or comes in and watches my dog who's sitting right here, or like feeds my cats, or just like everybody, because I could not do this without them. And so it's like I have to make it because of them, because of not only the sacrifices that I'm making, but the sacrifices that they're making. Either feeding Jude, or letting him crash, or taking 20 minutes out of their day to come over and make sure my dog is not getting into the trash can. So
yep.
Yeah. So it's for more than me.
And it's I've been in the music business, I've been in other businesses and stuff, and it's crazy to see that like people left and right are actually making it and like making it.
And it's
like,
really awesome to
it's
see.
so cool to see. Like we have standing ovations in our living room. You're on AEW Dark, like just people we've had on the show, people we call friends, just really succeeding, NXT, AEW, whatever it is. That opportunity is there. You, in my mind, and not just because you're on the show, because we wanted to have you for a long time, you're a shoo-in for a lot of those companies right now. What are the, you can give the politically correct answer here, whoever gives you contract, we've heard all the answers. Some people want to open a school, travel the world. What's the goal for you right now? You kind of mentioned that, you feel like, you're going to make it. And I feel the same way.
Yeah, we both do. Yeah.
Thank you. The goal for me is to get a contract that allows me to, be a full-time wrestler and provide for my family and make a comfortable living. At first, when I was 12 and wanted to get into wrestling, like I wanted to get into wrestling because I loved it. And I still love it. That hasn't changed. And then, as a 12-year-old, you're like, oh my goodness, like look at all this money I could get. I'm going to get a big mansion with a pool and I still want a pool. Don't.
I was about to say, out of all that, I'll take a pool.
Yeah, take the pool.
Yes, an outdoor bar and a pool. But anyway,
there you go.
I don't want like a huge mansion or whatever. I want to be able to live a comfortable life that is not living paycheck to paycheck, and not having to worry so much about finances and making sure that my family is taken care of and that we're, Jude's my son, so that he's taken care of, well beyond, his mother and I. So that's the goal, whether that's with WWE, AEW, NWA, MLW, WOW. What I'm like trying to think of all these other
there's opportunity. It's there, and I don't know, you're one of those ones that I say,
it's not
or it's a matter of when and where, not if, obviously,
Yeah.
but you have it. That's why you're here. Like we've seen you for such a long time and you're killing it. And something else that stands out is you, like your philosophy in the ring, a lot of that mat-based style incorporated in. You had those bangers with Trish that we love, Masha, and also your entrance too. It's just very like no nonsense, right to the ring, like get down to business. Throw up the belt, let's go. Like I love that. Like tell us about the Jordan Blade philosophy.
Yeah, so I mean, it took a while to hone the entrance. And I will tell you that I have a few coaches that let me figure out how to
critique.
Yeah, the few coaches who like have worked with higher level names and everything and have taught me the nuances of camera work. And I'm still working on that, especially like in the ring, but the nuances of camera work, especially for an entrance. So I feel like that's part of the reason that my entrance is the way it is, to make sure that I come out and, you gotta, I mean, it's still a television business, right? You still got to pose for the camera. You still got to get those photos that you can use or whatever. You still got to make sure that you get your lower third on the screen, and all of that. So making sure that I hit my marks when and where I need to during my entrance. And then a lot of it is, or part of it rather, is, based off of like an MMA entrance, where they.
Yeah. That's the vibe I get. I like it.
Yeah. And then I like to, this is just me personally. I, for the most part, stare at my opponent. And if I come out first and they come out second, I stare at my opponent the whole time.
Yeah.
Because
intimidation factor. Like it.
Yeah. Why am I going to take my eye off my opponent?
Yeah.
And even if I come out second, I do my thing and I get in the ring and I do my shuffle, my 2 in, 2 out around the ring. I typically don't go all the way around. If I'm going to shuffle, I stop at my opponent to make sure they know I'm there. And like, this isn't like, I mean, yeah, we're making our entrances and it's theatrical or whatever, but this is also a competition. This is also a fight. This is also a contest. And I'm making sure that, that either A, I'm ready, or A, that I'm ready, and B, that I have the championship.
Yeah, that's right. And then the in-ring work speaks for itself. Like, I think I can say that was one of the most, like, arguably the best technical wrestling matches I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You and Trey, and I'm like a high flyer kind of guy. Like, that's what got me into it. And like the fact that like the technical stuff is really connecting with me. Like, is that your philosophy? Does it depend on the opponent? Like you said, the submissions, the knockouts, and all that stuff. Like, what is your kind of way to tell a story and pull off a fight in your matches?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So I think my biggest strength is my technical prowess and my strength and my power. I mean, I've gotten gold medals in both powerlifting and jiu-jitsu.
Really?
Wow.
Whoa. That's awesome.
Oh.
Yep. My first powerlifting competition, and oh my goodness, what was that? 2017 or 2018? Got a gold medal.
Good for you.
Yeah, and then my first tournament as a blue belt. Thank you. My first tournament as a blue belt last May. I got a gold medal in no-gi. That's typically my philosophy when it comes to my opponents. I pretty much I'm doing the same thing. 9 times out of 10, I can out-grapple my opponents. The 1 time out of 10 is when I wrestled Matt Mikowski and Tom Lawler in the same month.
That's fair, though. That's fair. Who would you? Yeah.
That's what it was.
Who would you want to work? Because we talk about forbidden doors and all that stuff, but realistically, outside of like 1 or 2 companies, you really can work with anybody at any given show. It's really kind of cool to see. I'm still stoked when the Flintstones met the Jetsons. I think aging myself here, but like it's so cool for us as fans to see. Like, who would you want to work with? Maybe on the indie level that you haven't yet. Well, I guess you said Riley. And or for Magic anyway, for the championship, and who on that AEW national level would you want to work with that you haven't yet, because you have worked with a lot of them?
Yeah, so the first person that comes to mind is Layla Hirsch.
I love Layla.
Freehold Zone. Yeah,
love Layla.
Yeah, so she's the first person that comes to mind. Mickie James, Serena Deeb, both from Virginia. I mean, what can you do? I will tell you a Mickie James story. So it's not like funny or anything, but I remember I was in like my first 2 months of training, right, in Virginia, and I remember distinctly I'm in the ring and I hear something like, because where I trained was also where we held shows like once a month. This building in an office park that would hold maybe 100 people, not super big. So I'm in the ring and I hear someone coming into the concession stand about, 50 feet away or so. Okay. I turn around and it's Mickie James, and I'm like, what?
That's awesome.
There was no I did appreciate my first training school because they didn't promise, oh, hey, yeah, we have Mickie James and Earl Hebner come all the time. My first 2 months of training, Mickie James came and Earl Hebner came. I was like,
wow.
All right. I didn't expect it all the time, but I was like, yo, this is dope right now.
Yeah. Wow.
And I got to lock up and wrestle around a little bit with Mickie James. My first, like I said, 2 months.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that was super cool. She may or may not remember me. I don't know. She probably doesn't. She's opening forbidden doors and shit right now, which is great.
Which is amazing. We love that.
I love that for her. And I think one of my favorite women's divisions right now is the Impact Women's Division.
Yes, easily.
I love NXT and I love their women's division.
We're big NXT guys.
Yeah, especially like a couple years ago when you had especially like obviously you had the 4 Horsewomen, you had Asuka, but when you had like Bianca Belair and Shayna Baszler and Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai and Dakota Kai, I mean Dakota's still there, but I would like NXT and Impact, like their women's division, are kind of like neck and neck, and I would love to work with a ton of females from Impact. Like that would be dope.
You work with Deanna yet? She's making her rounds around the indies.
Oh, she's killing it.
She is. Yeah, I wrestled her at GSW in May of last year. Would love to run it back anytime. Like nice. She's phenomenal. I mean, she is the greatest women's technical wrestler in the world, and I wholeheartedly.
We'll see. I gotta watch that match.
She's on the run of a lifetime. I will say.
Yes. But I'm trying to, like I said in my promo that I cut, before we wrestled, I was like, I'm trying to take that title from her. So.
I was going to say, that's why, and no disrespect, Deanna's been on the show, super nice, been great, but I want to see that match between the two of you. Again, the best technical match I've ever seen was with you and Trish of all time. Yeah. And that being said, we talk about the jiu-jitsu, all the stuff that you do, the powerlifting. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Combat Fights Unlimited. That our friend does over there. Have you done a couple of those already?
Yeah, so I was on the first one, and I fought. Oh God, I'm trying to think back again. Memory of a Goldfish.
I mean, you booked every single weekend,
yeah. So it kind of blends together after a while.
God, please! I hope I don't ever get a concussion. Lord Jesus, knock on wood.
No, we hope not either. No.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, my first round fight was against Lady Frost, and I beat her. And then my second round was against Janai Kai, and she beat me. Oh, that's probably why I blocked it out of my head. I was like, I know I fought Frost. I was like, who else did I fight? Oh, Janai, she beat me.
Did she win I'm trying to think if she won the whole time. I'm trying to remember how the first one went, but that's it.
She won the cup, like the trophy. And then Masha won the belt at the next show. I wasn't able to be at the show after that in September.
That's right. Okay. Because we talked to Mayday before he did the first show, and it's a really cool, different aspect for you as a competitor. Like it's kind of, I'm sure, like worlds collide a little bit. Did you feel like you had an advantage, or was it just fun and exciting, like to put this all together? Like, what was that like for you going? Like, what was it like in general for like the wrestlers going into this world a little bit?
Oh, I felt like I had 110% advantage over everybody. That was real. That sounded real cocky. But
but you have you got gold medals. You got gold on your neck, your shoulder, your waist. Like, come on,
go. Yeah.
That's my bread and butter. So I was like, oh, okay, cool, I got this. But then Janai beat me. No, she's great. But like going into fights, I'll call them fights like that, like Paradigms, UWFI style, like fights, like shoot style fights and everything. Again, that's my bread and butter, and I feel the most comfortable in there, again, because that's the style that I train almost every day. I train in jiu-jitsu almost every day. And doing that and bringing like a pro wrestling aspect to it is it's almost like a seamless transition for me. I enjoy it. I enjoy watching everyone else kind of put their own spin on things. I think I keep coming back to her because I think she's just phenomenal. But I think Lady Frost does well in these types of environments because she's just good at everything.
Yeah, she's like a natural.
I'm like, well, damn, Frosty, like you're just good at everything. So I really think she excels at this type of pro wrestling as well. She's just, I can't say enough good things about Frosty either. Well, both are pretty proper. I still want that match with you, Vic.
Ooh, is this now? Would it be for the Butterfinger? Do you want the Butterfinger belt too, or?
I mean, yeah. Why not? Just put the Butterfinger belt on the line.
Another one.
Bring it.
Yes, I mean, it needs a friend. So I have four other ones over here. So it needs to just come on home. So come here, come down to Virginia. Come on, Vic. Let's put this Butterfinger Championship on the line. Somebody book it, please.
That's a soundbite. You heard it here.
Yeah, kind of. It writes itself.
I love Lady Frost. Like we always say, more flips in the morning shift that I have.
Shout out to her at the first ever women's X Division match. I mean, Ultimate X. Yeah, wow. That's great. That moonsault off the top is amazing.
Awesome.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, so good. And Jordan, I want to be respectful of your time, but thank you so much for finally
thank you so much.
Coming on the show. It's good to get to know you a little bit better. I look forward to seeing you at some of the Magic shows coming up. But we're all about that shameless promo here on the BCP. Tell everyone what you got coming up, where they can follow you on social media.
T-shirts.
And I think I saw that. What was it? The Shoot to Kill shirt. What do you got going on right now for the merch?
Yeah, man. So I have 2 shirts up right now on What a Maneuver. I have the Shoot to Kill, which was my first design. My jiu-jitsu coach actually designed it, so that was awesome. Nice. And then my second shirt, which is like the Blade Paramore shirt, which you can tell from their oh my goodness, which album was it? Their singles album, I believe, or their self-titled album. So that's where that design comes from. So both of them on What a Maneuver, and I'll have those ones at shows coming up. You can catch me this Saturday, the 22nd, at Generation Championship Wrestling's Diamond Cup in Tampa, where I compete in Block B action. First round matchup, myself versus Killa Cates, who also has a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background. So that is going to be a hell of a match that'll be streaming live on Title Match Network. And then the next Saturday, the 29th, you can see me at Flying V in Maryland, where I take on young up-and-comer Saul Esparza. So that's going to be a great technical wrestling match. That show is called Technical Difficulties. I said, how nice of you guys to name a show after me. Thank you so much.
Nice.
And then you guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Jordan_Blade92.
Love it. Jordan, thank you. I'm so glad we find this. Thank you for a few minutes of your time. Stay safe out there in all your travels and just continue success you move forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Jordan. Like we always say here on the BCP, everyone stay safe, stay positive, take care of each other. We out. Peace.